Have you ever looked into your dog's eyes and felt like, for the first time, you didn't quite recognize the soul staring back? One day, she's your playful, goofy companion, chasing tennis balls until she's out of breath. The next, she's withdrawn, perhaps a bit touchy, or staring out the window with a yearning that seems centuries old. If you are a dog parent to a female, you are eventually going to hit a biological milestone that has been hard-coded into their DNA since their ancestors roamed the wilderness: the heat cycle. It is a time of profound transition, often misunderstood as a messy inconvenience. But if we peel back the layers of frustration over stained carpets and incessant barking, we find a complex, beautiful, and sometimes taxing biological symphony. In this deep dive, we aren't just going to recap the basic signs you might find in a quick manual. We are going to explore the why behind the what. We are going to bridge the gap between clinical veterinary science and the emotional reality of living with a dog in heat. Whether you are a first-time owner or a seasoned pro, understanding these 5 pillars of change will transform how you view your dog's coming of age. The most iconic and often most daunting sign of a dog entering her heat cycle is the onset of vaginal bleeding. In the veterinary world, this marks the beginning of the pro-estrus phase. Usually lasting about 9 days, this is the body's way of announcing that the reproductive engine is warming up. However, a common misconception is that this bleeding is identical to a human period. Biologically, it's quite the opposite. In humans, bleeding signifies the end of a cycle where no pregnancy occurred. In dogs, it signifies the start of the fertile window. The uterine lining is becoming engorged with blood in preparation for potential life. Many owners panic because they don't see blood and think something is wrong, or they see too much and fear a hemorrhage. Here is the reality. The amount of discharge varies wildly by breed and individual health. A tiny Chihuahua might only produce a few faint pink spots that she cleans up before you even wake up. A Great Dane, on the other hand, might require you to invest in heavy-duty doggy diapers and a steam cleaner. The critical thing to watch for isn't just the color, but the swelling of the vulva. This area will become significantly enlarged and firmer to the touch. This is a vital evolutionary trait. It's a visual beacon for male dogs. If your dog is a long-haired breed, you might not see the bleeding at all, so you must become an observer of her grooming habits. Is she suddenly obsessed with cleaning herself down there? That's nature's way of keeping the den clean, and it's your first cue that the journey has begun. If you think teenage mood swings are intense, you haven't seen a golden retriever on day 5 of her cycle. The second sign is a radical shift in temperament. People often label this as nervousness or agitation, but let's look closer at the neurochemistry. During the heat cycle, a dog's brain is being flooded with estrogen, followed later by progesterone. Imagine the fight or flight system being tuned to its highest frequency. A dog that was once the social butterfly of the dog park might suddenly snap at a friendly neighbor. Why? Because her body is telling her she is a high-value target for every male in the county, and her instincts are screaming at her to be cautious. We often see 2 extremes. Some dogs become Velcro dogs. They will follow you from room to room, leaning their weight against your legs, whining if a door closes between you. They are seeking a safe harbor in you because their internal world feels chaotic. On the other hand, you have the rebels. These dogs might become suddenly disobedient, forgetting their stay or come commands. They aren't being bad, they are being distracted by an ancient primal drive that is much louder than your voice. As an owner, this is the time for compassion over correction. If she's grumpy, give her space. If she's clingy, give her an extra blanket and some quiet time. Trying to train away hormonal behavior is like trying to yell at the tide to stop coming in. It's useless and only damages the trust you've built. The third sign is perhaps the most invisible to us, but the loudest to the rest of the animal kingdom. The change in urination and scent. Have you noticed your dog stopping at every single blade of grass to leave a tiny drop of urine? This isn't a bladder issue. It's a strategic communication campaign. In the wild, a female in heat needs to ensure that potential mates can find her. Since she can't send a text, she leaves a trail of pheromones. These chemical markers are incredibly potent. They tell any male dog who passes by exactly what stage of the cycle she is in, her health status, and her receptivity. This is the red alert phase for safety. Even the most well-trained dog can become a runaway artist during this time. I've heard stories of dogs digging under reinforced fences or jumping through screen windows just to find a mate. The analytical takeaway here is that you are no longer just walking a pet. You are walking a high-frequency transmitter. You must be hyper-aware of your surroundings. Do not, under any circumstances, take her off-leash in an unfenced area. Even if there are no dogs in sight, a male dog can catch her scent from over 2 miles away and will be drawn to your yard like a magnet. Furthermore, you might notice your dog flagging, moving her tail to the side when her back is touched. This is a clear physical signal that she is moving from the proestrus, pre-mating, to the estrus, mating phase. It's the final go signal in the pheromone broadcast. The fourth sign involves the fuel that runs the machine: appetite. Just like in humans, hormonal shifts directly impact the gastrointestinal system and metabolic rate. Most dogs would experience a significant increase in appetite. Their body is literally preparing for the possibility of supporting a litter of puppies, which requires a massive caloric reserve. If she's begging at the table more than usual, or finishing her bowl in record time, she's simply following a biological mandate to stock up. However, there is a dangerous flip side. Some dogs lose their appetite entirely. While a day or two of picky eating is normal due to the discomfort of cramping or the distraction of hormones, total refusal of food can be a red flag. Here is a piece of advice you won't always hear. Monitor her water intake alongside her food. There is a condition called pyometra, a severe infection of the uterus that often occurs during or shortly after a heat cycle. One of the first signs is excessive thirst, followed by a total loss of appetite and extreme lethargy. If your dog seems depressed rather than just moody, or if she's drinking bowls of water but refusing her favorite treat, skip the YouTube videos and call your vet immediately. Understanding the difference between heat cycle lethargy and medical emergency is the hallmark of a responsible owner. To bring this all into perspective, let me tell you about a client of mine named Sarah and her beagle Bella. Sarah was a meticulous owner. When Bella went into her first heat, Sarah bought the best diapers, tracked the days on a calendar, and kept Bella strictly indoors. One evening, Sarah took Bella out for a quick potty break in their fenced-in backyard. Sarah thought she was safe, but she didn't realize that a stray husky in the neighborhood had been tracking Bella's classified ads for 3 days. The husky didn't bark, he didn't growl, he simply waited. As soon as Sarah turned her back to grab a waste bag, the husky cleared a 5-foot fence in one leap. It happened in seconds. Sarah managed to intervene just in time, but the experience left her shaken. The lesson from Bella's story isn't that fences fail, it's that banan, instinct, is a force of nature that we often underestimate. Sarah realized that during those 3 weeks, Bella wasn't just her baby. She was a biological entity in a high-stakes game of survival and reproduction. This story teaches us that we cannot be relaxed during this window. We have to be the guardians of our dog's safety, because their own risk assessment software has been temporarily overwritten by the drive to mate. It's not about being overprotective. It's about being realistic about the power of biology. So, what is the ultimate takeaway from all this? Is a dog's heat cycle just a 3-week period of stress and cleaning? No. It is an opportunity to deepen the bond of trust between you and your dog. When your dog is in heat, she is at her most vulnerable. She is physically uncomfortable, hormonally confused, and biologically targeted by every male dog in the area. She is looking to you, her pack leader, to provide the one thing nature cannot: security. The lesson here is that patience is the highest form of love. When she stains the rug, don't see a mess. See a sign of her growing up. When she whines at the door, don't see a nuisance. See a soul caught between two worlds. By understanding these 5 signs, the bleeding, the behavior, the scent, the appetite, and the danger, you move from being a mere owner to a true guardian. Our dogs give us their entire lives. They offer us a loyalty that is rare in this world. The very least we can do is offer them 3 weeks of extra patience, a few more head scratches, and the steady hand they need to navigate the storm of their own instincts. Keep them safe, keep them comfortable, and above all, keep them loved. Because at the end of the day, the heat cycle will pass, but the trust you build during those difficult days will last a lifetime.